Good morning. Good morning. So, Pisces, did you get your stuff in the mail yet? Just want to make sure. Stuff has been running real slow. I was just talking to my wife about it yesterday. Okay, cool. Just let me know. I'm pretty sure it did. I've been tracking everybody's stuff just to make sure everything's good to go. All right, so it's on to the next five for today. Hopefully, we're going to see if we can get through all five of these. We have about 3 to 4 hours worth of time today. Um, the good news is that my lists are on TikTok. I'm going to make a web page that'll have them on later on today, so that'll be good. Um, let's take a look at what was done yesterday. All right, so yesterday we were on twice, and we were able to create Colossus, Cyclops, this guy named, I think his name is Draker or Daker. Yes, Dakin. I'm sorry, Dakin. Never really heard of him, so that was fun. So all those are brand new. There's supposed to be Cloak. I'm sorry, Dagger, but I'm going to be working on her later on. How you doing, James? Welcome to the cast. I will get back to her, but I'm going to go ahead and do Daredevil. I don't really want to spend a lot of time just struggling trying to figure out stuff, so I will come back around to Dagger. It's just that design. I wasn't feeling that design. This is where it was going, to be honest with you. This is what it was, and I'm just like, I don't like it. And I'm not going to give you guys crap work, so I'd rather give you my best, no subpar stuff in this arena. So I just got to go and set up my cards, and then we are good to go. So that's one. I feel like that frame's a little off, but it's okay. Man, I got to talk. I got to talk about some stuff I saw last night, and I keep on seeing this morning. I'm a little upset. So, two trailers came out yesterday. Two major trailers. Number one, the Supergirl trailer, I'll come to second. But the one I really want to talk about is the Street Fighter trailer. I don't know if anybody saw that yesterday. I think it dropped yesterday afternoon. Now, I remember the Jean Claude Van Damme um, movie that came out back in the 90s. Now, remember, Street Fighter was cooking, right? We had Street Fighter Turbo, we had Street Fighter Alpha, but nonetheless, Street Fighter was doing really good. It was a very strong property. And I feel like it's in the same boat now where they're making fantastic games. But um, they decided to finally drop the movie. Like they've been fighting this fight for a while to get this movie made. And to their credit, they were able to get some credible people for this movie. Now, I'm not talking about the wrestlers. I'm not going to take anything away from those wrestlers, but I don't think that they were like the strongest people to put in this movie. And, when I heard what roles they were going to be playing, like Cody Rhodes as Guile, I mean, he's the American Nightmare, right? And I just didn't know how that was going to go. Um, I I wasn't very like overjoyed by the pick, but then they went ahead and said, "Hey, we're going to go ahead and have who was it? Um, Roman Reigns as Akuma." And in my head, I'm like, "That's kind of a brilliant idea. Having Akuma be Roman Reigns, he fits it very very well." He's got that mean look, and honestly, he doesn't have to talk a lot. He's just got presence, and that's what Akuma is. Um, in his initial meeting of him, he doesn't have a lot of words. He just shows by actions. And for me, when I saw that, I was like, "This is a good call." But again, there's certain people I'm not teaming with. And when I saw the video for it, the trailer for it, I didn't like it the first time. I said, this trailer, based upon what I'm seeing right now, makes the old movie look better. And that's a problem because the old movie really, for all intents and purposes, really did suck. It was not good at all. Was not good at all. It was really a crappy movie. And I just I just saw that trailer and I'm like, this is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. So we're gonna see how it goes. Come on. Trying to fix a problem while I'm doing this, but I do want to see if I can find. Mm, all right. Yeah, we'll just have to hold on to this one for a little bit. I am going to have to come back to this in a little bit because I really need to get some work done. Not that I don't want to do that, but I'll get that tablet up and working a little bit later on. Okay, I need some stuff in my background so I can get work done. Yeah, it's just a frustrating time for movies in that regard. Um, I'm hoping this is my hope that people are going to see this first trailer. They're going to speak their words. They're going to show by their actions, right? And be like, I don't like this at all. Y'all need to change this. This is not right. You're not doing good by, this movie. How you doing? Um, so you're not doing good by Street Fighter. You should take elements from Street Fighter the game, look at a lot of those cutscenes, and use those to really pump up the action. I mean, as far as like the color palette and everything, it is in that genre, in that realm. But overall, how you doing, Grandpa? Um, Overall, it just is not. It doesn't seem like it's going to be right. Like I feel like something's missing. So my hope is that people are going to, kind of like troll it like they did um, Alita Battle Angel and what they did for Sonic the Hedgehog, and hopefully people will be like able to have a voice loud enough to fix the problem. That is my hope. I feel like that is something that is very doable. So just got to wait and see. All right. Well, enough of my bitching about a bad trailer. I'm gonna go to something really good and talk about the She-Hulk, or not She-Hulk, but um, Supergirl trailer. That thing was dope. I was not expecting that. Tonally, it definitely hit from when we first saw her in the last Superman. For those of you that haven't seen it yet, I apologize, but yeah, it hit hard. It was really really good. I'm very impressed. All right, let me figure this guy out because I want this to be right. So we're going to go here. So I think it's definitely good. Very, very happy with everything that happened there. Um, tonally, it hits the tone like right on the money. So I have no qualms with that. So I'm hoping that they're gonna do the same justice um with like what is that movie? Lanterns and all that stuff. So hopefully it'll be really good. All right. So my goal for this is making a dope looking um Daredevil. So he's crossing hand over hand. I think that looks good. Maybe we'll turn his head a little bit. And I think what I'm definitely going to do for this one, I'm going to incorporate the black in here to make the red pop out more. Man, I haven't drawn Daredevil in a little bit, but this will be our first Daredevil for the set. I mean, there's not going to be another one. It's just this one only. but I got to remember what Daredevil looks like because it's been a minute since I've drawn him. I mean, we're doing pretty good on this set. I am very happy. So Daredevil, I believe, makes like number 40 in the like as far as like overall characters I've started from the beginning. But as far as characters as a whole, I think I'm almost a 50. That makes me happy because if I keep moving the way I'm moving, I might actually have the whole set done by um or a Marvel set done by the end of the month or the very beginning of the year. Okay, cool. Which that would work out really, really well. That's a better reference picture for him. Okay, cool. Okay, I think he's going to look amazing. Well, how you doing, Karma? Welcome. Working on this huge undertaking of doing 1,000 sketch cards. How you doing this fine Friday? Okay. Oh, thank you. Well, here, let me. So this is Draken. I'm not familiar with this character. This is just one I pulled. There's Cyclops, and then there's Colossus. So those are my three that I did yesterday. Yeah, I think that character's kind of cool. He's kind of like a Wolverine and the guy from Mortal Kombat. Kind of reminds me of that. Yeah, this is going to be a fun project. So right now I'm out of the 1,000. Before I started this, um, I think this week I was at, let's see, um, so one, two, three, let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. I think it's almost at that 44 so far. Yeah, I am doing 1,000 sketch cards. So the series is called Road to 1,000. So I've decided that I want to do 1,000 sketch cards, 10 different categories. So that makes 100 cards per category. Yeah, it's cool because the categories are fun. We have we're starting off with Marvel. Then we're going to go to DC comic book characters, Image comic book characters. I believe after that we are going to tell you the other ones. All right, so because all right, so after Image, then we go to Transformers. We have video game characters, anime, Pokemon, cartoons, movies, and wrestlers. Those are all 10 of the different categories that we're going to do. As far as Flash goes, I have a bunch of different Flashes that are going to be in there. I have Reverse Flash. Let's see, do I have my list up here? That's weird. That one did not transfer over. That's weird. So I think there's either two or three different Flashes I'm doing. Yeah, I know. I really want to do all of those. So, let's see. I'm trying to see who else I got in there. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so I'm going to do Kid Flash. I'm doing Impulse, and of course, the traditional Flash and then Reverse Flash. Yeah, you know what? Grodd is not on my list. However, I am going to probably have some extras that I'm doing, but I want to get through this set, and probably as I'm going through, I might do a couple extras because people are pulling up like yourself. You're pulling in characters that when I was initially making the list, I wasn't thinking about. I mean, when you're talking about 1,000, I mean, 100 characters per genre, it's there's a whole bunch that you can tinker with. Yeah, I know that I have Bilbo in there, I have Gandorf, and I think I might have one other person that's from Lord of the Rings in there. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to push myself to do some things I've never done. Because when you do conventions and stuff like that, you get the same characters like Wolverines or anybody that's popular at the time. So I want to have something that is so different that people have never seen me do something like this before. That arm looks really weird. I don't like that. I'm gonna have to redo this one. I do not like that. I should know better than that. I know better than that. I never should have done that one. But that's two that I've had to let go of. I mean, I don't like that. That's two in the last 2 days, but that's okay. We'll work that out. Um, try to get this guy up and running. I didn't catch that arm when I was doing it, so that's okay. I'll redo that. Yeah, so this year is going to be a crazy one. I mean, I have a year to do all 1,000. That's the crazy part. I've done 700 in about 6 months, so this is why it's going to be getting that over that last bit of a hump. Is going to be the hardest part. Really? So they're illustrating everything? So we're talking like every like animal and every bird and all that stuff? All right, let me get this thing going here. So how many different species are you talking about? Like what's the total number? Are you so hold on. So you're going to actually have that person make every one of those species for you? Oh, okay, okay, okay. So that's her goal. I thought that was your goal. Okay, that's crazy though. I mean, that is a hell of an endeavor. She definitely is going for it. I mean, it's going to make for a very good book when it's done. It'll make a great portfolio piece. Wow, that makes sense. So it's more like paintings and stuff like that versus illustrative work. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's great control. Yeah, she's got to have skills in order to pull that off. I used to experiment with that stuff back in the day. Not my favorite medium because it's not as forgiving. If it can literally bite you in the butt if you do it wrong, but it's really cool that she does that. Honestly, I feel like of all the things that people could do, drawing is something that anybody can do. And everybody that I've talked to, all the students that I've had a chance to work with over the years, they're like, "No, drawing's hard. I can't do it." But it's one of those things that if you put in the time, you'll get better at it. Will you be competitive? You could, but again, it's all about time in. It's a fun medium to do. You're gonna like it, especially if you've never done it before. You're really definitely gonna like that. Yeah, with painting, I mean, using that as your base, it's beautiful. And the fact that it holds up so well, that's what makes it even better. All right, so I'm gonna go in here and pop in this pencil. So, what is your favorite medium of art to work in? Okay, let me see something. You know what? That's actually a really good skill to have. I have a buddy of mine that actually one of my old students. He owns a reptile. What do they call that when you like a reptile rescue? Yeah, you should check out his stuff, if you get a chance. Let me just put it on here so that way he's got some really cool animals. Now, I know you have a very large group. Let me pull this up. Mm, see if I can find this guy. Reptile. Where are you, buddy? I think it's called like reptile exotic, reptile exotic. Ah, there it is. Jungle House, Jungle House Exotics. I'm gonna send it to you right now, so that way you can just check out his stuff. Young kid, but he's actually done quite well for himself. He's got a very lucrative business. Let me pull this up here, and I'll send it over to you. But I know he's like, he builds terrarium. I mean, he has terrariums and all that kind of good stuff built for him and all that. So you guys could always build a connection. I mean, it would be, it helps. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I think he's about to be 16, but he's been doing this business for quite a while though. Okay. Like my lawn guys are here. Yep. Hmm. Let me see if I can pull his stuff real quick. Sorry. All right, I gotta make sure my stuff is working here. That's weird. My weird, weird, weird. There we go. Uh, Let me get this. I'm gonna copy the link. Copy. Let's try this. See if this will work. Try that. Try that link to let me know if that works. Perfect. I figured that would be the better route to take. Yeah, hopefully maybe you guys will, have a connection there. I mean, I always like I said, I'm here to try to build connections for people. I really wanna build that out. Sorry, I'm just trying to put something on in the background so I can do my work. So outside of dealing with animals, like, reptiles and whatnot, anything else you like to do? Anything that you're interested in? Okay, that's what I wanted to see. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. Sweet, we got our movie. Okay. Nope, I didn't do that. I mean, I just sent you the thing. That's cool. I'm glad that that worked out. That's cool. I think I'm gonna give this little bag there, and that should work. We're good. We're in business. Now I'm going to give him a black outline so that way he really pops. That bad, huh? What is it that they do that is just pretty horrible? Yeah, that could be a pain in the ass. I don't know if I can deal with that. Well, hopefully that stuff will end soon. I mean, I honestly, I'm one of those people that if that's the case, I hate to be the complainer, but sleep is important to me when I do get it. So if somebody's messing with that, you can only drown out stuff for so long, and then you got to take care of business. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where it's just like, you gotta be like, "Dude, really? Come on. You're being a little ridiculous right now." So I know you got a bunch of reptiles. Do you buy and sell them, or do you just collect them? I would never say I was a collector of reptiles. I had a couple of reptiles. I had a boa, and I had a ball python, and a bull snake. Those were my big ones that I had. Yeah, I could only imagine, having something like that. It'd be fun. Do you have like a separate, like barn or whatnot for something like that? Dang, millipedes. Whew. Um, so is it like any of those like ones that have like little pinchers on the front? Those long ones? Usually you like find them in Hawaii, that kind of thing. Oh, let me show you. I'll show you. Let me see if I pull a picture of one. Now, I know the millipedes are the ones that have like the tons of legs. This guy. You have any of those? I don't know if you can handle one of those. Like I'm not. Those are the ones that kind of like look like the roly polies, like that. That's what I figured. Okay, that I get the two of them mixed up from time to time. I did see that. I did see one of those centipedes. Sonar Sonarams. Let me see what that is. Um, I did see one of those when I was over in Hawaii. That thing, those things were insane. It was fast as all heck. Pseudorands. Centipede or millipede. Oh, that seems like a really cool millipede. That's pretty cool. Those look really cool. What a fun little hobby. That is a very, very cool hobby. Yeah. So what does something like that go for? So like buying the terrarium and buying all the stuff to go with it. That's where the expense comes into play. Holy crap! Let's take a look at what a gargoyle gecko is. Never heard of one of those. So is it like a stone looking gecko, grayish in color? It's a lot of expensive animals. Ah, okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. I want to take a look at what that gargoyle gecko is. All right, gargoyle gecko. Oh, that's a creepy looking gecko. Okay, I'll definitely take a look at it for sure. Really? No, I did not know that. That's a new one. I had no clue. So they carry it. How do they know they have it? They just opened one up and said, "Hey, okay, this is what they see in it," or does it actually dispense it like kind of like what a skunk does? Wow, that's crazy. Man, the things I get to learn on here, it's pretty dope. Well, I guess that makes it harder for predators to really like take them on. Wow. Man, that's an interesting thing to find out about. Yeah, I could see how that could happen for sure. What's going on, Mac? That is crazy stuff. Again, very interesting hobby to have. So when you move, how does that whole thing work? Like, how do you get them with you? I don't understand how that works. You just put them in like little containers and then you transport them to the new home, or you've never had to deal with that mess yet? Yeah, you would never get rid of your animals, correct? Yeah, that's crazy. At least you're a responsible owner. You're not one of those owners that is like, I can't take care of them, so I'm going to go just release them into the wild. I'm very happy for that. Like here in Florida, that's the typical process. People don't know how to take care of them, so they just drop them near the road or something like that and hope for the best. Hey, Max, what's going on, buddy? Hey, Kimberly. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy the stuff that, that people do with these animals. Um, Florida now, like, iguanas are like an invasive species. Those the African lizards, they're insane over here. Like you can't go anywhere without seeing one. They're that prevalent here. Yeah, Florida's a hotbed for that. Oh man, whew. Yeah, your animals have a hard time right now here in Florida. Lots and lots of heat lamps. Oh, that makes life easier. That makes life way, way easier. Yeah, I can only imagine. I'm not a like here where I live. 78 is what I used to live in. I can't do that anymore. Like my mom, her whole house is heated at 78. I mean, I guess if you get used to it, I mean, it's not a problem. For me, it would be too hot. All right, I think I got this. This is going to be dope. Wow. I just, I don't envy you being up in there, up in Michigan. I can only imagine how cold it is right now. Jesus. No. I'm being real honest with you. Hell no. Yeah, no. No, no, no. That is uncomfortable. Yeah, I can look. Um, that is scary. Having that black ice. No, no. Hey, Swirl, what's going on? That is the scariest thing. I don't even understand how that works. Like because I don't live in something like that, it's baffling to me how people can actually operate in that cold of weather. Yeah. Do people get a little crazy on the roads? That logic does make sense. All right, I think I got this one almost done. Just gotta pop some blacks in there and then do the face. That makes sense in the fact that you have their path there, so you can just follow that because they basically cut you a path. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess. I'm assuming that you've been up there all your life, right? Wow. Okay. Jesus, that's insane. Yeah, I could not even imagine like that whole idea of dealing with slipping and sliding and all that stuff and knowing that there's a great potential that you're going to lose your car. That's kind of nerve-wracking. It almost makes me wish like I would have a job where I'm working from home all the time. Well, I guess if you're a person of faith, I mean, you're good to go. Oh my gosh. I would be nerve wracked. And I'm a pretty confident driver. That just would just throw me a little bit. Yeah, but still, even at that, I mean, that's a pretty crazy event to happen. Yeah, but even at that, I mean, like I said, the fact that you ran into that, that's a crazy event. All right, this is gonna look great. Absolutely not. I mean, I see a ton of them out here. Like we have a lot of them here in Florida, but I've never had that happen. Like, my best friend's wife ran into one. Oh, that's good. Thank goodness. Hey, Lord, how you doing today? Gotcha. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good this morning. Just knocking this guy out. So you guys all done with like Christmas shopping? Yeah, this is gonna be a hard weekend. Like we've set it up where we're gonna break it up because we have two kids we got to buy for. Um, so we're gonna do half of it this weekend and half next weekend. Too much stuff. Yeah, I mean, I agree with the gift cards. I mean, you know, shopping for my wife was hard until we kind of um, came up with the idea of we gotta give ourselves a budget to work with and stick within that budget. Then you get creative and you come up with things that they'll definitely like. And then you ask them straight up. I mean, because you don't want to. One thing I realized with my kids is that I'm tired of buying just stuff. So if you got stuff, all it does is just collect in your house. And with kids, they tend to just see it for a minute. If it doesn't hit their interest like immediately, then it just sits. And a lot of adults are the same way. So that's why a gift card works really well. But also being straight up and being like, what do you want works well too. Yeah, those are great too. We've done that with our kids. Like we did like concerts, we've done trips. Um, like we gifted them a trip to Hawaii. That was one of our things that we did. Uh, gave them a trip to Texas, and you know what? They enjoyed that kind of stuff because it's not stuff that we typically would do. No, I wish that was definitely a gift. I had family in Hawaii, so that kind of worked out. So it saved us a lot of expense. Really, the only thing it came down to was plane flight and food, housing accommodations. Thank God we're taken care of. Well, honestly, like when we did our trip to Texas, and even all the trips that we typically fly Spirit, and even though that Spirit's experience is not the best, price wise, it tends to be the best. We probably spent like maybe $50 per ticket each way. Yeah, but just imagine if you were to like surprise them. Okay. He's done so. I think she might put some white tones on him. Yeah, I think this year we've decided on a couple of nice little gifts. We're gonna like at family time is gonna be the big thing for us. All right, that's done. So yeah, family for me, family is most important. So getting that time with them is going to be huge. Okay, so Daredevil. So Darkhawk is my next one. I don't know who the fuck that is. Oh, I know who this is. I've seen this guy. Okay, so I think I've got this Darkhawk character going. Yeah, I just don't know. I haven't drawn him before, so I'm going to draw him next. And then after Darkhawk, we got Dazzler. But actually, I've already drawn Dazzler, so I don't have to worry about her. So after that one is Deadpool. Okay. Yeah, Darkhawk's a new one for me. Like I remember him back when I was a kid. Looking at him, so we're gonna see how this goes. We'll see how many people I can get done today. I'm going until 12 at least. So we'll see what's up. Hopefully, I can get through a lot of these guys. Okay. All right. All right. So it's got this stone in this chest. All right. So it looks like he's got this star deal going on. Yeah. If any of you guys know who this character is, because I don't remember him at all. Please let me know. Hey, since I got you guys on here, I was talking earlier. What are your thoughts on the Street Fighter trailer that just dropped yesterday? Really curious because I've got some mixed feelings with it. Just want to kind of get everybody's opinion. I'm curious to find out what are your did any of you guys see the trailer for Street Fighter yesterday? Well, so I don't know if either of you have seen the original Street Fighter. Now, we all know that that movie was pretty bad. um, I even with the Jean Claude Van Damme, it just wasn't that good at all. Had a lot of great actors in it, but it just was hokey, really was. And I'll be honest with you, when I heard that they were going to make a Street Fighter, especially since we did come off the heels of Mortal Kombat back in 2021, right? I was kind of surprised that they didn't take advantage and look at all of the assets that they had from like the video games and all that stuff, and including that movie. And as we know, like Mortal Kombat, it looked good in a trailer, right? There are aspects of it, especially when the guy took the ice and you saw him pulling it across his hand and he turned it into a blade. The action sequences were really cool. Um, However, the execution of the movie was not good. So even when I looked at the trailer for Mortal Kombat 2, I was like, man, they definitely seemed like they'd learned their lessons and we're gonna get a better movie this time around. And I would have thought that Street Fighter, because they were in the same boat, like the original Street Fighter sucked ass. Like it was bad. They would have used some of those ideas and been like, we have to change this. We have to give people a good experience. So that way they come to this movie and they're excited. I think what's going to end up happening with this movie is people are going to definitely get up on it, or at least this trailer. People are going to speak their piece and they're going to be like, I hate this. And it's going to get an overhaul. So if you guys remember Alita Battle Angel and Sonic, had that happen to them, and it served the movie better. It really did. I just think that they are doing they're doing a disservice. You have great actors in this movie. You have talented actresses and actors in this movie, and you made it hokey. Like I'll be honest with you, seeing Cody Rhodes as Guile with that haircut, that was a mistake. That was a blatant mistake. You mean to tell me, out of all of the different versions of Guile that we've had over the years, you mean to tell me that's the one you picked? I mean, that was a horrible move. You know, the flat top. You know, you made it too big. It's not even realistic. It's horrible. What's up, Seek? That I think really threw me off in a big way. And I don't hate Cody Rhodes. I really think Cody Rhodes is great as far as what he's able to do and his presence and all that stuff. I just don't think as a guile, he made sense. Like Roman Reigns does make sense for an Akuma. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like the Akuma pick was makes sense. I can even take 50 Cent, you know, being Balrog. Um, yeah, that I mean, however, here's the other part to it. After watching it a few more times, I'm like, okay, maybe they don't have somebody that produced a good trailer. Like this movie probably has a lot of good fight scenes in it, and it's probably got a cool story to it, but it wasn't executed in the trailer stage. Which I'm hoping because the movie is 10 months away, that this was like a test and they can retool it. And when Mortal Kombat comes out, they're going to pop it in with that and we're going to get a better trailer. Because look, no joke, the girl that they showed in there, she's the same girl from Cobra Kai. She's legit. Like she is a dope martial artist. The lead for that plays Ryu, he's the main character from Warrior. You can't knock that. I mean, if I'm a studio, I'm not messing around. I have an investment. You know, I want my movie to be great. I mean, it's sad when you see the movie posters for all the characters, and the movie posters are more interesting than the trailer. That's a bad sign. And I'm hoping the studio will really look at this and redo what they're doing. And when they finally, push their marketing, that they're going to do right by it. Yeah, you know what? That is actually a really good example. Transformers One. Yeah, that I didn't want to see Transformers One, and then when I saw it, I'm like, I wish I could have seen this in the theater. Transformers One was great. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like that's like the best Transformers movie that they've made since I would say like Bumblebee. And in fact, I actually liked it better than Bumblebee. But that's the thing. I mean, the cool part about this, or not cool part, the fortunate part for this is that they released this thing really early. I think if they had released this um, during like summertime, which is probably the window that they're going to open it up for when they start their marketing, I I am sure that it would tank the movie. You know, when WWE starts doing their pump up, because you know that in some way or fashion, WWE is affiliated with this. They're going to need something to make it work, and they have a huge stake. Like, think about it. WWE's got a huge platform, not only just on internet, but they got Netflix and they have other platforms that they use. So I'm hoping that they're going to see this and be like, yeah, this trailer sucks. This is going to make our movie not make money. And what that ultimately does, because they have people like Cody Rhodes and then they also have Roman Reigns, they're going to push it during um, WrestleMania, right? And it's going to dilute the quality of their wrestlers when if this comes out bad. So they have to. There's a bigger play on this. Yeah, yeah. I just I saw it, and I think what threw me off is that when I saw the opener for it, I was like, "Oh god, where are they going with this?" And sure enough, when I saw it, I'm like, "This trailer is so bad, it makes the old movie look great." I mean, if you guys really want to have a really good example of how this movie could be bad, if you look up online, there is an old movie, I would just segment that they did, and Jackie Chan was playing Chun Li. If you look up that segment, you'll be like, it's in that vein. It was silly, goofy, great martial arts, but it was still silly and goofy. Yeah, I didn't even realize he was screaming like that until I turned on the volume. I just saw it on mute the first time I saw it. I'm just surprised nobody sat up there and said, "Hey, you need we need to retool." I mean, there is a flip side. So we got two trailers yesterday, which was really dope. So we got Street Fighter, and then we also got Supergirl. Supergirl was amazing. Yeah, I believe that 100% with Cody Rhodes, 100%. But that being said, I don't think Cody Rhodes was right for that role. I don't think I would have ever put him in this role first for his real first acting role or major acting role. I would not have done that. So my hope is that whatever role he has, it's not very long. Think about it. Like when you have The Rock show up for his first role, he was in The Mummy too, right? He had one line, Akuma Shinte, and that was it. That was his first line. You know, you had Hulk Hogan do his first role. He was in Rocky 3. He really didn't have a lot of lines, but he was just a presence. Cody Rhodes, I don't know what his role would be. I mean, even John Cena, when we look back at his first role, it was a movie called Trainwreck. He was just a big beefy guy that Megan, whatever the comedian's name, she was dating him. That was it. She had to earn those stripes to get those bigger roles. You know, even I think like Roman Reigns playing Akuma, that makes sense because he's just not going to talk a lot. But Roman Reigns has got that, that deep, you know, burly voice that would fit that kind of character. He could be intimidating. And I think with the fact you adding those red eyes and putting that hair up there like that, he's gonna be dope. But going back to um, Supergirl, let's be clear. The best part about that trailer was great. But seeing Jason Momoa as Lobo, hands down, my favorite part. It's the part that I have wanted to see him in for years. Like I knew he would make a good Aquaman. I thought the design for Aquaman was dope, but this was his role. Like you couldn't pick a person to match up and be a better character. I mean, you say, "Hey, who could play this role? Who looks the part?" You know, I would say the only other person I could say that would work for that would be like Brock Lesnar playing Eddie Brock. And I'm talking Brock Lesnar at his prime, like when he was like super huge. No, I don't think he was right. That was his role. I thought the look of him, and I think he's a great actor, so he was able to make it work. But that wasn't his role. That was never his role. Like that role should not have been his. He played the role well. He absolutely played the role well. But this role is definitely going to be him. I mean, you got the lit up cigar. Y- You don't know how many people like think about it. How many people really have been waiting to see Lobo live on screen, and we're getting Lobo. Yeah, I when they decide to go ahead and make Lobo or make Aquaman a brunette, and instead of like, and I hate to say it, he's a Caucasian. Like everybody knows Aquaman, like this Caucasian guy. So the guy that played his brother, that would have been a good role. Like I would have made him Aquaman. Yeah, you definitely had to have somebody that was a little more agile. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jason Momoa is definitely very athletic. I mean, he was great in Conan, very underrated film, but he was great in it. Okay, I'm glad you asked me this because I have a lot to say on this one. Um, so I'm gonna say the good side, all right, first, because I think that's very important. Actually, let me start with the bad side. What could be the fail? So if Netflix gets the property and continues what they're doing right now, okay, if they do that and they don't start putting things directly or keep Warner Brothers properties going to theater, I think that's going to be a problem. I really do because Warner Brothers is a theatrical based company now. Like their big stake is producing great films. So that's where we were able to get things like Harry Potter and The Matrix, um, the Looney Tunes, all that stuff. Like those things are major properties that need to be in a theater. That is very important for that because it's made to have that gravitas. Now, the flip side to that is that Netflix does not have a direct line for distribution. So they are not set up for doing theatrical releases. Like they don't know how to properly do it. Like there've been good movies that they've done, but they haven't put them in the theater because they don't know how to do it well, right? They don't do it based upon their stuff that they do is based upon like analytics. So what works, what's getting that trend because that's a streaming thing. But when it comes to movies, you're creating something for an experience, a grander experience. Warner Brothers knows how to do that. So now Netflix not only can make the movies that they make. So for example, they just had that war movie that just came out. They have the new Knives Out movie. If they had already had Warner Brothers in place, right, they could have set that up and it could have had this great theatrical run. And they would have made money in the theater and people would have loved the experience that they had in the theater. So when it hits streaming, they're still making money. That's the part that they haven't grasped onto. And I think it's a good move for Warner Brothers, or sorry, for them to be, bought by Warner Brothers. But Netflix needs to let Warner Brothers be Warner Brothers and Netflix be Netflix. Netflix needs to handle the streaming side, and Warner Brothers needs to handle the movie distribution side. And then underneath that, you still keep HBO doing their thing. So you literally will have three streams of income because with Warner Brothers, you still have the catalog. So you're making money off of that catalog. As soon as that Harry Potter series drops, and and I'm pretty sure the Harry Potter series is going to drop just as this merger finalizes. They're going to make money on that, and even if the thing finalizes, they're still going to start making money once season 2 hits. When they drop Penguin 2, they're going to make money off of that because if they keep it separate, that's the smarter play because then they'll make money off of HBO and they'll make money off of Netflix, and people will buy both because most people are already subscribed to both. And it's a smart play for Netflix. I think it for them, if they do it that way, they will be successful. They will be so much money off of this. I will go and get HBO, if they pull that stunt. Because there's so much I can get off of that. I can love that. I mean, I get the best of both worlds. That's why I like have Hulu and Disney because Hulu and Disney as a pair, like I liked them that they were separate because I knew where certain things were. Like Hulu had a certain set of things that worked. I mean, the fact that they're getting absorbed, that works. It makes sense for them. For HBO and Netflix, it doesn't make any sense for them to do the two. I think they just need to keep the two separate. You own the companies, let them play in their sandbox, you play in yours. So I know that was a whole lot of information. What is your feedback on it? What do you think about it? Yeah, I agree. I don't believe Peacock is the way to go. If I were Warner Brothers, I don't think Peacock is the better player. Even though Peacock is trying to go hard with this $107 billion uh, deal that they want to do. Number one, we don't know if the deal's cash, so that's another thing, right? Netflix is giving them cash. Cash is king because that's hardcore money. They're literally backing up the truck and saying, "Here's our money, take it. Let me have that property." Right? Peacock, if you really think about it, people don't really subscribe to a lot of Peacock. But Netflix has got a huge network of stuff. You know, Netflix has got a even though they license a lot of stuff, they expose people to a lot of material. I mean, I'm watching stuff from Europe, I'm watching stuff from Asia. Peacock doesn't have that kind of library. They're not going to spend that kind of money to do that. I don't feel like I get the value out of my Peacock channel. I'll be honest with you. The only reason I have Peacock is for Ink Master. That's it. I don't watch The King of Tulsa. I don't watch none of that other stuff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've gotten more exposed to Netflix's deeper catalog since I watched Money Heist. So Netflix does that the targeted suggestions. Yeah, but the same token, Warner Brothers had to do that because they had a lot of debt. Remember when Warner Brothers picked it up, when they were picked up after the whole AT&T thing, they had to get rid of that. They had to get rid of bad debt. So it's better to write that stuff off. I mean, however, I mean, if something's a bad project, why are you going to put money into it? I mean, everybody talks about the whole Batgirl thing. We never saw the Batgirl project, so we don't know if that Batgirl project would have made money or not. I mean, they were sitting on some bad products. So, like, everybody was talking about The Flash, and they hyped The Flash up to be a great movie, but The Flash wasn't a good movie. Let's be real. The Flash was not good. But will you agree that over the last year, let's look at the last year of stuff that they've released. So, would you say Sinners is a bad movie? No, it was solid. Oh, you didn't like Sinners? I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, Sinners to me, I think was a great character-based movie. Very, it was like it's definitely a Ryan Coogler movie. Okay, we have, and this is not my kind of movie, but we have Minecraft, right? I don't like Minecraft, but they built Minecraft. They made it in a way that people loved that movie. I thought that movie was going to bomb, and they killed it with that movie, right? We had um, Weapons that came out. What else was another big one that they dropped? Superman was not one of my favorites, but Superman was a good one, right? But they're leveraging these characters, and they are making profits. Like this year, on on the movie side of things, they've made a lot of money. Right. I think that they everything that if I was to really give it a letter grade for what they've done maybe a B to a B minus for the year, but they've been profitable this year. That's the good part. I mean, if you really and I agree, like it has a Dusk Till Dawn feel to it, but the movie as a whole, like if you really dive deep into it, it's a cultural based movie, and it's got a lot of soul and heart in it. So those are the new additional themes to it. So I get where you're coming from because I would say the same thing with Avatar and Fern Gully. It's the same kind of comparison. I don't like Avatar, the original Avatar. I love Fern Gully, but the same thing with with Sinners. If you really sit down and watch Sinners, a few times, you'll see you have a brotherly dynamic that's there. You have an interracial dynamic that's there. You have a musical dynamic in there. You have a demon, you know, thing in there. It's a whole bunch of little parts that were really put in there. Yeah, I didn't even know about the vampire part until I saw the vampires pop up. I didn't want to know. When I go into a Ryan Coogler movie, I know I'm going into a character-driven movie every time. It's all about the characters, and everything else is secondary. Yeah, Haley Steinfeld threw me off. She honestly was one of my favorite characters, and the fact that Michael B. Jordan was able to play the two twins, that was cool. Yeah, I mean, it's honestly for me, out of all the movies I'd seen this year, from Warner Brothers, that was probably my favorite. You know what's a deceiving movie? And I just saw this week. So, um, there's a movie out, and it's called Christie. So it's got Sydney Sweeney. So I think Sydney Sweeney being who she is and being in this movie kind of hurt that movie. Yeah, it's the boxer movie. Yep, it's the boxer movie. I think Sydney Sweeney hurt that movie. Now, let me say this: Sydney Sweeney as this character was awesome. The movie was great. The movie was really, really solid. Yeah. Well, it failed on many levels. Yeah, it art see, that's the problem. When it came out, nobody knew. Yeah, that's the failure. They didn't market this movie properly. So, Sydney Sweeney was doing promo for this movie the week that it was coming out. Literally, she was at Daytona on Sunday. The movie came out on a Thursday, on a Wednesday. It was very piss poor marketing, and I know that they didn't have a lot of money for it. But here's the thing: Sydney Sweeney, I don't think her being in this role and being who she was, and I think also the politics in it also hurt this too because she's got certain views and she was doing certain things that kind of, really hurt it. Um, that really was the draw where people were like, this is really not that good. You know, I'm gonna give Sydney Sweeney her flowers. She's a damn good actress. In this role, there were times I didn't even realize it was her. That's how good she was in this movie. I mean, I the 2 movies that I was really looking forward to, at least in this kind of vein, like these indie films, was I was looking forward to The Smashing Machine because I wanted to see The Rock in something where he was not playing the big brute guy, like, he wasn't the superhero. I think that's the better way to put it, and I thought it was gonna be good, but the way that the directors took it, that's why the movie didn't go well. The movie was just a small piece of his career, and and the fight scenes were pretty meh. I think The Rock needs to dig deeper in his emotion because people don't realize, but The Rock actually can be very, very dynamic. I think it's the fact that he has not been in a role like this in years that really did him a disservice. So if you saw him in Snitch, he was very good in that. This role, he was good. I just don't think he had enough time to really push it. Well, in this one, he really didn't seem like The Rock. Like there were parts where you didn't feel like it was him. But yes, in every movie that he does, he's got Rock isms. But this one was one where he really could have killed it, but they should have made a deeper story. Yes, it does, and that does like the whole. If you look at it, like where his mouth is, and even the where his eyebrow is, that does. I'm looking forward to this new role that he's doing. Um, so as you know, Dwayne Johnson dropped a lot of weight. Like he lost a lot of his mass. I mean, as they were doing press for that movie, he looked dramatically skinnier. right? And it was due to a role that he was playing, and I think he's playing like a father role. So he had to lose the weight, but I also believe it's, health concerns too that he definitely didn't need to be as big as he was. Somebody, I mean, he was on something. Like he's a big dude. He's a big guy by default. So I mean, he, I'm sure that he had some kind of extra added boost. I'm sure that nobody will ever admit it, but he had to be on some stuff. Well, he is. He's getting up there. I mean, he can only do but so much stuff now. Yeah, you know, Dave Batista though. I mean, I'll give Dave Batista his credit. I mean, that dude is actually a really pretty damn good actor. I mean, if I'm looking at all of them, I'm talking like Hulk Hogan to The Rock, to John Cena. Like overall, Dave Batista is like not even. You don't even think of him as a wrestler anymore. Like you even you look at his old videos, and you're like, man, that dude used to be a wrestler. It's crazy. So you know what? I haven't talked to anybody about this, so I don't know what to think about Justice League because are we talking Justice League from the Snyder first, or are we talking like a brand new Justice League? Okay. Um, so the two things. So the Batman sequel that's in production. Like they're getting ready to start filming that next year. So I don't think that that's going to be an issue there. And the reason why I say that is that the Batman made money, and I'm sorry, but they're not going to leave that money on the table. The Batman was probably one of the best Batman that I've seen since The Dark Knight. Um, Even though I love Ben Affleck's Batman, let's give it what it is. I mean, that was a very brand new, fresh version of that character. Um, as far as the Justice League, I would love to see a Justice League. I don't know what a Justice League looks like in the in the grand scheme of things because I love the Snyder cut of Justice League. I don't like the Justice League movie that we saw in the movies. I thought that was horrible. Um, but the Snyder cut version of it for me is a masterpiece. It's beautiful. From the music to the cuts, all that. It was very cohesive. Even watching, you know, Wonder Woman cut off that dude's head and Darkseid stepping on it, that was awesome. Really? So, just out of curiosity, what is it about the Snyder cut that you wouldn't what is it that you don't like about it? He did. I will agree. He did use a lot of CG. However, it did make more sense for that movie. Tonally, it definitely was way different. Yeah, I mean, I would say that, he used the money that Warner Brothers gave to him and used it in a very smart way, and it made the Justice League movie that we saw in the theaters forgettable. It fit the tone of what he was trying to do before his daughter died. Yeah, I just think, for me, I've seen the Snyder Cut probably like 4 times. It's a good ride. It really is because, I'm sure that you've probably talked to people that have seen it, right? And it's set it's set up in, like, 8 different chapters, so it's almost like you're reading a comic book. It's got that kind of feel to it. Musically, like, the first couple of minutes, it's got the traditional Zack Snyder music feel to it. It feels like a video. When you see the characters, they are more believable. I would say out of that whole set, Ben Affleck is probably the standout in that movie. Seeing Martian Manhunter was cool, and obviously, seeing Superman in his black um, suit was cool too. Yeah, you know what? I'm not a humongous Zack Snyder fan. His the favorite my favorite movie that he ever did was Man of Steel, and I think I I would say this, Man of Steel because he casted Superman correctly. Henry Cavill is my favorite Superman behind Christopher Reeves. Um, it just that was a smart move on his part. But I, like many other people, believe that Snyder does rely too much on CG to fill in the gaps for what he's doing. I mean, if he'll go back to the days of when he did like 300, a lot of that was practical. I mean, of course, there was the CG part of it too, but a lot of it was practical. Where did he mess up? Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, when he did that Batman v Superman, tonally it was all over the place. Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. I still to this day don't understand why they decided to go Doomsday. Doomsday looked like a an oversized frog. I mean, it was weird. Yeah, it just I don't think Zack Snyder knew what he really wanted to do with that. I would love to find out what the reasoning was why they went that route. There's so many missteps with that. And again, you know how you were talking about marketing before. This is one of those movies that marketing was very deceiving and messed up my thoughts on the movie. And then when I saw the villain, I'm like, this is dumb. This is so dumb. But that's the thing, the it never should have been a dark series. Like the whole tone of the whole DCU was or DCEU, that dark side just for me it didn't work. It didn't make a lot of sense for that stuff. You know, I think that Wonder Woman was really strong. Obviously, Wonder Woman 2 was Wonder Woman 84 was bad. Um, but I think once they figure it all out, you know, well, let me take it back. I think they figured it all out. They needed somebody that knows the lore, right? My biggest thing that I'm still really worried about is that are they going to keep James Gunn? They need to have somebody in place that has a bigger vision. So having James Gunn who knows, well, that's the thing. Like James Gunn knows he's a comic book nerd. So let's give him his credit for that. My problem with James Gunn is that he wants to direct and be the creative. I'm not okay with that. Right. And my thing is that, he's a good director, but creatively you can't direct and create a world. It's not something that you have the energy to do. If anybody knows anything about how directors work, they're consumed by that project. Now, yes, they are thinking about other projects they want to do, and they may be having their hands in other pots, but you're an executive of a company and you're overseeing this part of the ship. He can't keep on doing movies and doing executive decision making at the same time. It's just not going to work. Ask Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige was trying to do more than he could. I'm not saying he was directing. I'm just saying like from an executive standpoint, if you're split too far, something's going to have to give. Yeah, but I mean, I would say, even the Russo brothers, I wouldn't put the Russo brothers in that position. I mean, let's look at the Russo brothers. What is their track record um outside of their Marvel films? Like what have they really done that has really resonated? I will give you 100% credit on the Christopher Nolan thing. Like when Christopher Nolan comes out, he is like he's the shit. I don't think he can run, the creative for um for DC. His brother could, because his brother is a great storyteller, and he needs Christopher to do it. Like if you literally look at it, The Dark Knight is Christopher Nolan and his brother really pushing that. Um, John Favreau, great visionary, but let's look at Star Wars. Really, have we really had a really good Star Wars run from him? Like The Mandalorian was good, but two was okay, and three was just not good. And now we're getting a Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to see it, and then I'll be able to give feedback. Iron Man was great, but was Iron Man 2 really that good? It was okay. I mean, John Favreau definitely started us off on the right foot. He really did. If he didn't have that vision and Kevin Feige wasn't pushing it, I don't think it would have worked. Look, I'm going to be the first person to say, you know, when people would talk to me about this new Superman that came out, I would tell them that the new Superman kind of reminds me of what happened with um, the first Iron Man. I will say Iron Man was better, but it was a setup movie. It was a setup movie for the universe. So it's not great, it's good. It made money. I will say that I will watch Iron Man over Superman if you had to give me a choice. But I'm looking at James Gunn's vision from the long game. Like he's going to introduce us to characters that we're not used to, but it can't be through his lens. Like he can't be directing it. I get tired of watching James Gunn movies. Like they don't for me they don't have a ton of rewatchability for me. But the ideas do. I'm excited to see Supergirl because I remember I remember the first Supergirl movie that I saw when I was a kid. I was like, this is very generic. It's boring. She's basically the bionic woman, but she's in superhero clothes and she's supposed to have the powers of Superman. It's okay. It's okay. It's not great. It's just okay. That doesn't sell me on something. But this new Supergirl and having her be like a little asshole, that's perfect for me. I love that. The look of her is very different. All that stuff. Yeah, you know what? If you look at it as a whole, who was the most interesting character in that movie? Definitely wasn't Superman. Definitely wasn't Superman. Well, I think the thing that they're going to do, the fact that they made Superman not the typical Superman, like his parents are, actually evil. They sent him to destroy, almost like you know, what a Goku was, right? Because Goku was basically sent to Earth to, wreak havoc, right? Um, that kind of thought process is kind of cool. Well, it gives him purpose. Am I going to be like my parents? It gives the human aspect of it. So, there are these little things that you appreciate in the character development, the design, um, the backstory of that character. And I think I appreciate it more because I'm not, I've been exposed to all of those Supermen, and not any of them really, other than Christopher Reeves and what's his name, Henry Cavill, have I been like really locked in on them. And I've seen a lot of Supermen over the years. Yeah, I mean, and I respect your opinion on that. I really do. It's not for everybody. I just would say this: revisit if we end up keeping this DC universe, revisit that Superman because I'm definitely going to do that, and I'm sure that once we revisit it, we're going to have more appreciation for it. It's going to have more value. I can say the same thing about Iron Man. Like Iron Man was okay for me when I first saw it, right? It wasn't great for me when I first saw it. However, now when I watch Iron Man, I have a greater appreciation for it because I understand its roots a lot more. And the fact that how they started the universe, or at least that set of sagas, is how they ended it. Like it came full circle. So if they were to do the same thing with Superman, like in 30 films, and they decide to kill Superman, now we have value in that character. Now it would make more sense. And now it would be like, whoa, now that was a great movie. Can you just think about it? Like 10 years from now, because it took us 10 years to finally lose Tony, right? 10 or 11 years. I think it was 11 years because we lost him in Endgame, right? So just think about it. 10 years from now, they kill Superman, and Superman stays dead for a couple of years, for a couple more years after that. Then people are going to have a different take on these movies. That would be a good long term goal. Like, could you imagine we see that part where Doomsday actually comes out, and Doomsday is actually dope as shit. Like he's this menace, and he has just wrecked house, not just through one movie. We're talking multiple movies. He's just wrecking house. He's taken out Green Lanterns. He's taken out Superman. He's taken out Batman. Like, could you just imagine if that happened? So we get three movies where Doomsday just has won and won and won, and on that third movie, he kills Superman. Yeah, yeah, that movie was great. The Death of Superman movie was great. The stuff after it, not so good. Yeah, I mean, I would say that Death of Superman run, even in the comics, is probably one of my favorite storylines. Man, we're cooking today. Yeah, the Death of Superman was cool, but I want to see people just get annihilated. Like I want to see Doomsday the way that Doomsday was portrayed in the comics. He is a force. He didn't have to say anything, but you saw like as he was destroying things, it revealed more and more of him. So think about that through a movie. So we start off in movie A, he's got the full green suit, he's on the asteroid. We get to movie B, he's now on Earth doing his thing. And then movie C, we're in Superman movie, and Superman has to go against this character. I mean, that whole idea just would be dope. Like, how do you stop the unstoppable force? And DC could pull it off. They really could. I just want to see good stories at the end of the day. And that's what I feel like I'm going to get from DC moving forward. Like, I'm really excited to watch the Clayface movie. Like, Clayface is probably one of my favorite characters I was introduced to from the animated series. I love that character. The character is really, really cool. He's rich in lore and history and just character wise, like the flaws, like you're an actor and then you were so vain that eventually it costs you your vanity. That is cool. Yeah, I mean, that's the cool part that I think having a DC universe like this is going to work. Like, I like the fact that we don't have everything connected. I love Marvel for the fact that they try to do that, and that's a huge undertaking. But the fact that you could have Elseworld things going on, and then it's not multiverse, we're talking Elseworld, so it's like separate stories, right? We can have something like the Batman, and then we can have something like Clayface. We can have a Penguin. We can have this Superman world. So now people can pick and choose what they want, what they like, and everything's got a different tone to it, but it's not all connected. I love that. That is a great thing. Okay, we're getting ready to do Deadpool next. One of my favorite characters. Yeah, there's so much that they can really do with this. But I think the fact that they're going to have, um, if this merger goes, because we know that we're looking at a year to a year and a half before this is really official. It's just talks, doing paperwork, working with the federal government, all of these things, and I mean, burning down lawsuits and all this stuff. All of these things have to be conquered before we even see this come to fruition, right? And then we're talking about at least another year or two before we actually see something come of this. Because if you really think about it, the merger for Fox and Disney happened what, 4, 5 years ago? Let me see. Okay, let me pull this up real fast. I'll know for sure. Okay, so let's see when. All right, so when did Disney buy Fox? So Disney bought. So the deal for Disney and Fox, the announcement of it was in 2017. The official deal did not go down until 2019, right? We didn't get a production from that company until Deadpool and Wolverine. That's when we first saw a Disney property and a property come together. And we just got that last year, right? So that was 2024. So it took them almost 5 years to produce something that had both brands together. So let's look at this whole Netflix thing. Now, what I think is going to happen is that Netflix is just going to take whatever Warner Brothers has, and they're just going to let it be produced. It's not going to be a merger. Like we're going to like the ball is going to just keep on rolling. The only difference is that Warner Brothers is just going to be underneath new ownership. That's it. I think Warner Brothers is going to stay Warner Brothers. I don't think it might be Warner Brothers slash Netflix. I'm sorry, Netflix slash Warner Brothers. But at the end of the day, that's what we're going to be looking at. And I think it's going to be good for business as long as Netflix just does not do Netflix stuff to Warner Brothers. What I would love to see though is I would love to see DC come back out with really good animated movies. Like who remembers like Mask of the Phantasm and the Joker? Like when they showed how the Joker became the Joker using the animated series. Oh, sorry, this was the Batman Beyond Batman. Man, I remember watching that on repeat like crazy. I would love to see that happen again. Let's see if I got any messages here. Nope, nothing yet. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the art style. It kind of throws me a little bit. I was super excited to watch that the samurai um, Batman one. I like the Ninja Samurai one that the first one they did, but after that, I was kind of like, eh. I want to see their old. I want to see that older style. I think the problem with it is that they rely too heavily on computer graphics to do the things that they want to do. Like the Red Hood is so good. Have you ever watched the animated Flashpoint Paradox? So if you haven't, you need to see it. It's really good. And the reason why I have such a big problem with the Flash movie is because it wanted to be the Flashpoint Paradox, right? And the Flashpoint Paradox comic is pretty dang impressive. And they botched it in so many ways. Like it could have been so good, so good, but they botched it. So it's unfortunate. But that's the kind of animated, styling I want to see. Like that animation that they use, like Bruce Tim needs to come back and do what Bruce Tim does. I think ever since that he left the fold, I feel like it's gone downhill. All right. Hey, have yourself a good one, boss. Yes, really good talk. Hope you have a great weekend. Yeah. But like I said, I mean, I think since Bruce Tim is no longer, having the charge over there, I feel like they don't have the same kind of, feel for their movies. And that's gonna happen when you change leadership. I get that, but they need to have somebody that tonally can pull off the same stuff. Like they have great stories, I think things like um, the Court of Owls was a great story to use. I just don't think it was executed well. And again, that's my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. But if I was to line them up and I was to say, okay, what are your best um, animated movies that you did? I would say Mask of the Phantasm, still one of the best. Um, let me see if I can pull it up here. Oh, here it is. Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker. Again, another one of their best. Um, the Killing Joke was fantastic. Flashpoint Paradox was really good. The Red Hood was really good. Yeah, I 100% agree. Like that Batman animated series, it's still a chef's kiss to this day. Like nobody, like we would not have a Harley Quinn if that show had not been good. Because anybody that knows comics, that's where she came from. Harley Quinn is not a comic book character. She did not come from the comics. She was not created in the comics. Yeah, absolutely. Like that was a dope Mr. Freeze. I mean, let's be honest. Joker really got the Joker feeling, like not taking anything away from Jack Nicholson or from our other Joker from Dark Knight. But let's be real, Mark Hamill as Joker, that is our Joker. Like that was a huge standard for many years. Um, Tim Curry. I don't know Tim Curry. Let me see who that is. Did he play Joker? Um, no. I and I Here's the thing. Tim Curry was great. Like I will always say like him as the darkness in Legend, epic. Him as Pennywise, fantastic. Him as James Hook in the Lost Boys cartoon series, great. The Joker really was epitomized with Mark Hamill because Mark Hamill was that silly version of him, and then he was also the very sadistic, crazy version of him, right? So I feel you got both sides of it. Tim Curry was like his voice, he had great gravitas, but he was creepy all the time. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I I think Tim Curry as a voice actor, as an actor, like have you ever seen Legend? I love that movie because of his character. I wish I could have seen more of him you know, on screen. I love his voice. I think his voice is great. I don't think it would have worked for that series though. I mean, Darkness, that voice that he had in there, I'm like, you know that epic laugh that he had? I'm like, it was eerie, it was scary. So, like I said, as far as like a creepy character, he like nails it on the head. But in terms of this sadistic, um, bipolar, unhinged kind of character, I don't think he fit for that. But great choice though. He would have he I mean, I would have knocked it if he had beaten Mark Hamill for it. I would not have knocked it. Because here, at the end of the day, what really pushed that series to be really good was Bruce Timm. You know, Bruce Timm really at the end, he was the captain moving the ship. And he's the one that pushed for great stories. In fact, he and his team were the ones that gave that series that darker tone. So I don't know if you ever saw some of the behind the scenes on it, but all of Batman was painted on black. Like their backgrounds were done in black and they built the colors up. So that's how it had that very dark tone. But at the end of the day, the animation style kind of had this 60s styling to it, you know, 50s and 60s styling to it. So it wasn't super detailed, but it had enough depth to it that made the everything pop. You know, everything had like these very like straight and curved areas to it. Like look at the car. Car was great. The buildings were amazing. The styling of Batman was really, really good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what they're gonna do. I'm looking at the long game. Like, what is our landscape gonna be for Warner Brothers in 5 years? You know, Warner Brothers needs money because they have vision. Like, if they keep Zaslav in place, or they have somebody like him, that company will do well. David Zaslav, as much as people hated that man for some of the things that he did, some of the decisions that he made, those are the hard decisions somebody had to make. Would I have loved to have seen a Batgirl movie? Sure. But would I have liked it? I don't know. You know, would I have liked to have seen? Well, and just keep in mind, like the Batgirl movie was made by the same guys that did Bad Boys for Life. Bad Boys for Life was good. It was a fun movie. Um, but would I have loved to have seen a better version of Flash or saved that money that they spent on Flash and seen a different movie? Sure, 100%. Would I have loved to have seen the Looney Tunes movie a long time ago? Absolutely. But I'm getting it because they sold it, you know? To his credit, he really, at the end of the day, wanted to make this company valuable, and he's done that. And, you know, it takes a stronger person to say no than it does to be a person that says yes to everything, or somebody that just has to go along with the status quo. You know, I look at, you know, what happened Disney lost when they lost Bob Iger, right? When Bob Iger left, he was like, "Look, I'm going to give you this guy
this other Bob, and he's going to run the ship, and he's going to do great. And we all thought with new leadership, you would have new vision, new goals, and what you want to do. But he was not the guy. He did not have that kind of push. And ultimately, he cost the company more money than helped them. I think he catered too much to the fans. We as fans wanted all of this stuff, right? We wanted more Marvel. Well, guess what? On the back end, getting more Marvel was not a good move. It actually was a bad move for us. It got oversaturated, and when you're trying to, pump in all this information to people, eventually they're going to be like, it's this is the same stuff, different day, and that's what happened with Marvel. Marvel was better at a slow burn because it gave them time to come up with great stories. Who would have thought that they would come up with an idea and be like, we're going to take 10 years to build this out, and not only build it out but make it work. They made Spider-Man actually. They made me care about Spider-Man again. Like, I was so done with Spider-Man after they canceled Amazing Spider-Man, or sorry, uh, was it Amazing Spider-Man? Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, after they canceled that, I was I was done with Spider-Man. I didn't want to see another Spider-Man at all because I liked Andrew Garfield as that character, and because it didn't make the money that Sony wanted it to make, they canceled it. So I was done with seeing another origin story. When Marvel said, "Oh, we're going to bring Spider-Man back in there," I was not the person that was jumping up for joy. I was a person like, "No, I'm good." But I saw the movie because I liked how they introduced him in Civil War. So they gave us a taste of him before he actually got his own movie. And when I got to see Tom Holland be this charismatic, fun kid version of Spider-Man, I was like, I'm in. And Homecoming, when they showed the trailer for it, the trailer was fun. It's what I wanted in a movie trailer for Spider-Man. And for them to go right in and say, "We're bypassing all this crap about, we need to give you an origin story and all this kind of good stuff." They were like, they've seen it already. That's basically what Marvel did. They were like, "We already know it. We don't need to give them a fourth installment of an origin story. They know he got bit by a spider. Let's do it in a nice little dialogue and let's move this train." That was great for me because I didn't have a chance to get bored, and neither did the rest of the audience. They leaned into that and they were great to do that for us. And they did the same thing for Fantastic Four. That was one of my favorite things about Fantastic Four. They were not wasting time. They really wanted us to get to the story. So kudos to them. Really good job on their part. Yeah, I mean it's good. It doesn't bore you. Even with Sony, I will give Sony their part because they kind of learned their lesson too. When they did their Into the Spider Verse, they didn't do a massive, origin story. They kept it simple. Miles got bit by a spider. He has Spider-Man powers. Let's move this going. Let's keep it moving. It just makes more sense to do something like that. If people want to know more, guess what? They got other movies that they can look into and they can figure it all out. But why do you need to walk us through this whole slow process? I mean, I a lot of people give Fantastic Four a lot of hate. Like this new one, they didn't like it. I thought it was fantastic. No pun intended. I loved the design. I loved the tone. And most importantly, I loved the fact that Galactus made sense. You know who was the most underwhelming for me in that movie? Reed Richards. Reed Richards, and yes, I will say it is the best one so far. Reed Richards for me was not Reed Richards. He was weak. He kind of played up the same way that he's been played in all the other movies. I need him to be a stronger presence. And the fact that he was not in that frustrated me. Yeah, I just wish he was. And hopefully they'll fix that. Tonally, I think they're going to fix it. Hold up here. All right, hang on one sec. I got to fix my stuff here because my headphones are not working right. Okay, that's better. Hey, Sparkle, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I feel like the two of them just didn't click for me. I feel like each actor, like I felt like the lady that played Sue Storm, I liked her. I've liked her in previous roles too. I just don't feel like there was a deep connection between the two of them. Yeah, I just wish they were better connected. Yeah, agreed. But at the same time, I will say this: it is the first Fantastic Four movie, and you're going to have some things that just don't work. And I will say there was more good than not so good. They were able to utilize characters in a really good way. Silver Surfer was used in a very cool way. She was awesome. Yes, I agree. 100%. 100%. I feel like the villain characters were casted better. However, I will say I did love Ben Grimm. He was great. Um, because I felt like I was getting the guy from the Bear, like literally the same exact character, but he was in Ben Grimm's, skin. Like that tone. Because I know he's got different tones, but as tonally, I felt like that was perfect for that role. I like Johnny Storm, he was fun. I think like I didn't know if he was going to be able to pull off a great Johnny Storm, right? Chris Evans as Johnny Storm was fun. Like he was a really good character, but he definitely was surpassed. Yeah, those two and you know what? That's a good case in point. Like those two, you could see a bond between the two of them. Like you felt that energy, but you would think that a husband and wife that have been married and been with each other for a while would have a better dynamic, and they didn't. They fell kind of flat. I felt like I can't remember his name now. I felt like that actor was very disassociated from his wife. Like we all know that he's super smart, but he just seemed like he just did not want to be around his wife. That's what I felt like. Yeah, Vanessa Kirby though, dope actress. She's definitely got the presence, and I feel like we're gonna see better versions of these characters in this next movie. I look at, we'll go back to the whole Tony Stark thing. Um, I don't feel that Robert Downey Jr. really got his footing until like the second or third movie. Like I really feel like he hit his stride when he jumped into Avengers. Like that's really where I think he really popped off. He was at his best. The first two he was okay, but that one I think like that movie really pushed where he needed to be tonally wise. All right, I think I got him. Just gotta make sure I got everything in here. Hmm. I gotta fix this arm. They'll wipe that part out. Yeah, because this is gonna be across his body, so I gotta make sure I fix that. We'll fix that. That's all right. We can definitely fix that. keep on going back to my reference. That's why you guys keep on seeing me flip flop. Yeah, there's so many things that they can do, and I think they'll figure it all out. I just wish that Marvel would just tell us when we're going to get to see this trailer. I don't want to go to Avatar to go see this new trailer. I'm so opposed to doing that. I think from a marketing side of things, I get it, but I don't want to go see it. I don't have any desire to go see it. And I don't want to spend my money to go see it. I love good art. I just don't want to support that. Avatar's not for me. I've seen this play before. Back when they did what is it? Episode 1 of Star Wars. Yeah, I just don't want to see it. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great for the movie population. But as far as for me, I'm not the audience for Avatar. I found that out back in the day and kind of held to that one. I'm not a fan of the first one. I'll say that to the bitter end. The second one was way better because I felt like the story was a lot more original, and I feel like it pushed the story a lot more along with the visuals. But I'm definitely going to say, this one has me more intrigued because I love the fact that James Cameron keeps on pushing what he wants to do. Like he's pushing his stories. And like I said, this one more so than the others that I've seen, I like the idea behind it because it's pushing a lot of themes of psychology. And psychology really intrigues me. How do people react to things? And this one's touching upon how do certain traumas affect people. And in this case, how does it affect a tribe of people? So there's a reason why the fire Navi are more angry than your traditional Navi, like the water and the ones that the TV and all them are from, right? I like that kind of aspect that they're going to take on this. But that is not enough for me to be like, I need to go see this in the theater. I don't. But if anybody remembers, back in like '99, um, there's a movie called The Siege with Bruce Willis, and they put the Phantom Menace with that. That was the only way that you could see it. There was no getting it on the internet and all this stuff. You had to go to the movie theater, spend your few bucks, or skip over to the theater and watch it that way. I'm not going through all that headache. I don't have that time. I don't feel like doing that. So I'm just going to have to wait until it hits the internet. And I'm sure within the first little bit that it hits the theaters, somebody will have recorded it, and I will be able to see it later on that day. Now, will it be as good as watching it in a theater? Absolutely not. But I will definitely be watching it online, and I'll watch it online as many times as they will put it up there before they take it down. I didn't go see whatever movie Avatar was attached to. I think it was attached to Tron. I didn't see that because I didn't want to go see that stuff. I had no desire to watch that. So I didn't. I wanted to go see Tron, but I had heard all the crap about it, and and when I saw it finally, I was just disappointed. So I don't want to go down that road again. And I know that Avatar is going to be good. I have no doubt about that. It's going to be a good story. James Cameron is a good storyteller. I just don't want to see it. And I'll just wait for that trailer to come out. I just want to know where Marvel's going with it. And even at that, here's the other part of this whole thing that I don't even think I've talked to anybody about. I'll come back to that one in just a second. Um, we're only getting a minute and change for this intro trailer. This is just to introduce us to the big bad, right? It's what's going to happen, and I'm calling it now, is that Marvel is saving the big trailer, a really good trailer, until the Super Bowl. They're literally teasing us with this trailer. So we're not getting the big thing until February. That's when we're going to see the big one. That's when we're going to see that big swooping 3-minute long trailer that everybody wants to see. That's the one that's going to let us know characters. That's going to be the one that's going to let us know tone, all of that. So as excited as I am about this trailer coming out this month, as soon as I found out how long the runtime was for it, it's not going to be the trailer. I mean, if you really think about this, look back to when we saw episode 8, the one with the Jedi when they introduced Rey. So a year prior to that, they dropped that trailer. And it was a good, fun trailer, but it wasn't the trailer. We didn't get that until the following year. And when we saw it, that's when we got to see the Millennium Falcon flying through the air and saw her, doing her thing. And we got introduced to more of the characters in there. So I promise you, this is not the trailer. This is one of many that we're going to get. All right. So all right. So I'm taking it you have not seen Tron. That's what I'm inferring from what you said, right? Okay. So I'm not going to tell you about the movie. I'm just going to say this much about it. They had me really going for the movie. Like there were certain parts of the movie that really were amazing. So everything that you see in the trailer is dope. The drawback to that movie is that they didn't deliver on what was in the trailer. That was a frustrating part. Music, gorgeous. Story, not so much. And I'll say this, if they had done a sequel to what they had created in um, Tron Legacy, that would have served better than introducing these new characters. I think they did a disservice by creating this new Ares character. It didn't work for what they are trying to do. I thought picking Jared Leto for this character was a little off. He didn't fit. And then the whole AI thing, that part made sense, but it just they didn't execute on what they were doing. Like they were trying to create too many cool moments for this instead of pushing the Tron legacy. Like when you think of Tron, you think of Tron. Like what is it? It's the world, it's the environment, it's the landscape, right? It's the computer world. That wasn't part of this. So at its core, the things that made Tron Tron were not in Tron. I know they changed the name of it, but you don't have Tron. Hey, Callaway. And that's frustrating. That's the part that pissed me off about it because I thought in some way they were going to make all this stuff come together. Tron Legacy made sense because it really was doing what it said. It's pushing the legacy, and we're working off of the characters that we already know, right? Like we already know about um, Sam Flynn, right? But they didn't even go down that road. They should have really set it up for this is the next step from Tron Legacy. I mean, they introduced some really cool ideas. Nothing like watching a light cycle cut a cop car in two. That was really cool. But they executed on cool moments instead of great story. Oh, I'm going to be honest with you. We're probably not going to ever see another Tron movie again. Like, if you ever wanted to destroy a franchise, this was it. We're not going to get another mainstream Tron movie. We'll probably get like shows, but Disney's not going to back another horse like this. They might have made back their marketing budget. Like, I don't even understand where all the money went to. I don't even understand how they spent $150 million. I mean, did they spend it all in CG? Maybe, maybe. I just look. It doesn't make sense to me where all that money was spent because it damn sure was not spent in all of the effects because the effects were not so good that they needed to spend that. Right? Things that made it really pop off. That winning points for this are the music is probably by far the best part of this movie. Nine Inch Nails killed it in this movie. Like that soundtrack is phenomenal. It's as if they never stopped producing music. I mean, that's how good this is. Yeah, I mean, look, they fit it tonally. Nine Inch Nails was able to nail the tone of how this movie should have been. As far as the movie itself, again, it lacks a lot of what we saw in the trailer. Like people got excited in the trailer. Like the trailer was phenomenal. And then I started seeing things and I was like, no, I can't. And then I saw it and I'm like, yeah, I was right. And more now that I like watch Jared Leto, the less I really can back him. He hasn't executed for me in a lot of movies the way I think he should. I don't think he's worth the dollars that they pay him. Think about it. Like when we saw the Morpheus movie, He wasn't really that good in the movie. Granted, the movie itself was pretty bad, but he did not elevate the movie. When you saw him in Joker, I mean, in as Joker, he was all right. When you saw him in what was the name of that movie? I remember it. It's the one with the sci-fi movie. I can't remember off the top of my head now. Blade Runner. He was just basic Jared Leto. There was no like pop to him. Those are the things that I just don't get. He wasn't dynamic. Like I know he has skills, but not in these pop culture things. He needs to be in his lane where, he's doing, you know, how does it? What do they call those? The more cultural films like the Sundance movies and stuff like that. That's where he really thrives. This is not his lane. Like he's really not that good. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm really nervous to see him as Skeletor, but he could surprise me and do something really amazing. We'll see. I'm not gonna count the chickens before they hatch. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's his wheelhouse. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that he doesn't have the ability to have that diverse palette in that world. Like I think there are just certain roles some people just can't execute on. I'll never say he's not a good actor. I mean that's just not going to happen. I think he is a talented actor. I just don't think that these are his roles. Some people are not built, made for superhero movies. Like I think he goes a little too over the top. Like his version of Joker, I think it was too much. It was a little weird in places. All right, so I need to do. Do I want to go gold or do I want to go silver? We're gonna go silver. What's his blades? Yeah, I think next year is going to be a good year of film. This year, I'm kind of just like chalking it up to the fact I'm done. I'm good. I've seen everything I want to see. I'm not watching anything else. If something happens to catch my eye, good. But I'm not jumping to see the next thing right now. I think I'm done spending money at the theater. Unless my kids absolutely want to see something, I'm done. I don't need to see anything else. And I think also my other part to going to the theater, and I don't know if you've experienced this or anything, but I saw somebody talking about this the other day on what was it on TikTok. They were talking about movie etiquette. Oh my god, it makes it hard for me to go to the movies nowadays. And I know it sounds old. I'm okay with that. I'm good. But I hate people that don't know how to act in a movie theater. Nothing makes me more frustrated. That's good. I wish I had one of those around here. We have one up in Orlando, Florida, like that. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the actress that used to do a lot of her theaters, her showings up there. I'll pull up Rose something. Rose. No, I'm trying to remember. What is she in? She's in this movie. All right, so Emma Stone actually used to do like this. There's a theater up in Orlando, and she used to do a lot of her acting at that theater. Like she used to not only do acting at the theater, but she also used to do a lot of her movie showings there before she like popped off. Like this was like years before she popped off. Um, but yeah, up there in Orlando, and so I love those independent theaters. And I didn't know about this. Somebody introduced me to that theater, and I was able to get that exposure. But yeah, having a theater where people know how to be cool is important to me. It's a pet peeve. I mean, think about it. Like when you go to a theater, do you like it when people have their phones on bright? Do you like it when people, have a full on conversation when you're trying to watch a movie? That legit, I had that happen, and I think my worst experience, and this actually made me switch theaters. So I actually go almost 45 minutes away to another theater. So I went to go see Wicked last year, and there was a husband and wife that came in. Okay, no problem. Um, in our theater, we have assigned seating, and they come in, and number one, they were in our seats, so that bothered me. And I was like, "Look, you guys got to move. These are our spots." Number two, then they just started randomly going to other seats because they were a couple and they got their seats last minute, and they knew when they bought their tickets they weren't together in a good spot. So I think the spot that they had was in the front of the theater. They wanted to be up at the top. So they were able to find two separate seats. So the wife had to sit near us, and then the husband was sitting like a couple rows down. So he goes off, he tries to go get them food. He's having this conversation with her loudly in the beginning of the movie. So that was like frustrating. It wasn't during the credits, it was just the beginning of the movie. So no problem. They finally get done and everything's cool. And the problem began when the lady decided to raise up her seat, get comfortable, cool, but she took off her shoes and her feet stunk like rancid stink. And I had to deal with this stuff because I was the one closest to her. And I have a pretty good, sniffer where I can kind of tone out things, but this I couldn't. It was rancid. And I eventually luckily kind of like toned it out because I was really into the movie. So I was able to tone out that stuff, but that kind of mess is gross. Like people don't understand. This is not your house. You're in a movie theater, you're in public spaces. Act like you got some sense. Yeah, it sounds like I don't like these people, but I don't understand how people just act the way they do. It just doesn't make a lick of sense. Well, look, I've yelled at people in theaters before for acting stupid. Like I went to go see Gran Turismo, and these kids come in the theater. Now, I don't have a problem with people sneaking into theaters because I did the same exact thing. But here's the deal: if you sneak into a theater, you don't be loud because you're bringing attention to yourself. That's just dumb. That just makes no sense. So these kids come in the theater, and again, full on conversation. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I looked at these kids. I never forget it. My wife was like, it takes a lot to get you mad. So I knew they were bothering you. And I looked now my wife, mind you, she went off beforehand and had went to the attendant and had the attendant talk to them. But of course they didn't do anything. They were like the kids were quiet at that point in time. And then I looked at the kids and I said, "I need you guys to shut up because I'm trying to watch the movie and I know that you didn't pay for a ticket." So I did that and then they eventually left. But I shouldn't but people should not have to do that. It's just common courtesy. And we've kind of gotten away from that. And I think that was that COVID stuff that caused that problem. I don't get scared anymore because if a kid wants to step to me or an adult wants to step to me because I put them in their place because they were acting stupid in a movie theater, go for it. I don't care. Go for it. And at that point, if you're gonna like get real rowdy with me and like want to throw hands or pull weapons and all that kind of good stuff, I'll be like, look, and I'll keep it calm just as I am right now. I'll be like, listen, you're gonna get mad at me because you were in the wrong. You couldn't not have your conversation on your phone or with somebody else while the movie was going on. You couldn't leave and just do that. You had to do it during the movie. So who's in the wrong? Was it me or was it you? And if you think it's me, then you need to really take a look in the mirror and reflect on this because it's definitely not me. Yeah, because I don't usually typically get pissed off at people unless they're getting on my nerves. Like you really have to push me in a certain way in order for me to light up on you. But those kids did it. But at the same time, I'm not going to go to a theater that doesn't support its customers. Like it is ultimately about the customer experience. Movie tickets are not cheap. And when you go there with a family, it doesn't get any cheaper. It gets a little bit crazy. Now, I like Regal. I love what they do. They try their best, but they're not their experience is not the best. I will say this: I went to Texas. I think Texas has probably had one of my favorite theaters. It's got a theater called Cinemark. I like that theater. I really do. It's fun. Okay, I just need to add some more details to this, and we should be good. Yeah, because it is 12:25. I'm actually behind schedule. I'm gonna have to get going here after this one. About half an hour behind schedule. So, Sora, what you working on today? You sitting up here chatting up a storm. Never asked. Oh, man, you had to send over a shot of that. That's one of my favorite characters. I'm curious. I have one of those on my list for this set of cards. You know, funny story. When I was first introduced to that character watching TBS, and this is back when TBS used to actually show like animated movies. So they would switch between that sometimes, and they would switch between heavy metal. And I remember seeing Vampire Hunter D. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And this is when Japanimation was first coming, you know, stateside, and they had American dubs of it. And I remember seeing Vampire Hunter D. And I think the first part of it that I saw was when the hand was like gobbling up the dirt to revive D. Uh, the first, the first is my favorite one. I like it more because I like the animation style of that one. Bloodlust was a little bit more vibrant. I like the darkness that the original one had in it. The second one kind of reminded me of Ninja Scroll. It had that styling of it, and I love Ninja Scroll, but Ninja Scroll fits that styling for it for me personally. What about you? Which one do you like? Okay, let's put these little guys in here. Yeah, I can see that. I don't ever take that away from it. Yeah, I just like when I look at that styling of art. So they use the same style in Macros Plus, um, and I think that it fits certain things a certain way. I think the tone for Bloodlust was a lot faster. Um, so I think that the color palette worked very, very well with it, and so did the styling of characters. They seemed a lot faster. They seemed a lot more edgy, right? So I feel like that worked well for that. So I get you. I still like the movie. I feel like it pushed Vampire Hunter D in a positive direction. It added to the style. It added to the quality of that that movie series or that franchise. So that's what I love about it. I think I am at a good spot to say I'm done with this piece. I don't want to tinker with it too much more. I think he looks good. I'm gonna bring in the black here. That's good. I think that's cool. All right. So I'm good with it. Looks great. I'm happy with it. I think I'm going to call it for the day.